Well, hi all my friends. I'm going to just do another short video vlog, if you will, on can you free your mind from hellish thoughts, negative thoughts that are that you think are your own, and thoughts that are coming into you that you are telling you to do things to perhaps harm yourself, like suicide, kill yourself, murder somebody else, that sort of thing. And attached to my video is going to be a video from the Swedenborg Foundation nonprofit that explains it even further. And the reason why I'm using Swedenborg and not, say, the Bible, for example, is because within that there's also biblical verses being used as well. The problem, I believe, partly, is that in the early Christian growth, if you will, from let's say from the disciples and then the 30 or 40 so disciples after Jesus's ascension, and then we're talking probably less than 100 years. Things started to get diverse and changed, and later on we have the Nicene Council, books being removed and so forth. We have so much church history of things that have happened within Christianity that in the 1800s things really started to change. Swedenborg was alive, I think he passed away in 1772. He was born late 1690 something or other, so lived a nice long life, but the last 26 years of his, or 27 years of his life, he had these daily spiritual awakenings, if you will, or experiences, visions, out-of-body experience, spirit leaving his body, seeing spirits, and that kind of thing. And because there was such a faction, I believe, in the church, between the Catholic Church wanting control of everything, Lutheran, Calvin, and so forth, and on, all the splits. I don't know how many factions we now have in Christianity. I lost count. There's thousands. Christianity is, I think the gospel message has gotten to the point where it's so fluid that if it doesn't, I think some people have taken it to where if whatever doctrine they're listening to doesn't fit their lifestyle, they just leave the church and start their own church. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I'm not making any judgments here, but that's why we have so many, and you don't know what is right, what's wrong. But that's part of a problem as well. But we don't have the true history of how people were back in the day, and what let's take the Jewish population, let's take the Israelites, and they actually could see, it was palpable to them to see God's handiwork happening. They actually had God with them all the time. They had visual signs of him. They actually saw people die if they touched the Ark of the Covenant, for example. David, mentioning that, King David, and so that one of the I don't know if he was a pallbearer, but the Ark of the Covenant was going to fall, and he tried to grab it, and he died instantly, because it was told nobody can touch the Ark of the Covenant if you're unclean. Okay, so people were seeing all kinds of, my point is, they were seeing all kinds of spiritual things daily. and that they knew that they were spirit, that having a earthly experience. They knew there was God. They knew there was Satan's, evil, devils, demons, that kind of thing. But they were also not privy to how things work all the time, knowing that, thoughts come into your head, that some are good, some are evil, and that it's so subtle and so, what's the word I'm thinking of? Clandestine, if you will, that you think it's your own thought. And so to give you an idea of my own experience, okay, I'm kind of divulging something here. When I was 17 years old, I had realized that that I was not only gay, that I was not accepted in my church that I grew up in, that I was going to be ostracized from that church, that I didn't want to get married. That was, at the time, this was the early 70s, women were still told that, yeah, you got to find a man, get married, have babies, that kind of thing. It was prevalent still then, okay? Even though we'd gone through the 60s, love, peace, rock and roll, love whoever, you're with, kind of thing, Vietnam War, lots of things happened. People died, John F. Kennedy on my birthday, by the way. Martin Luther King, Bobby. I went through, as a young kid, through a lot of tumultuous history. And so, hippie times, music, all the, everything that, every genre that you can think of happened as I grew up. Rock and roll and so forth and on and on. So what I'm trying to say is that when I was younger, I actually saw spiritual entities in my room and scared the crap out of me. They were like clown-like, and I went running to my mom in sign language. Something's in my room, And so I had that experience. I had so at 17, knowing that my life was not sure, and I was working towards going to the Olympics. I was trying to do that at the same time, still in high school. I had voices telling me to go ahead and take my life, and which I tried to do. And thank goodness and thank God that I did not hurt anybody else, okay? And I took some pills that my mom had, and I heard these voices, go ahead, do it, do it, do it, do it, that kind of a thing. And thinking that it was my own voice, my own thoughts, not kind of knowing it wasn't, but not sure, not really knowing, and just feeling so miserable, so to the point that I couldn't think of another way out of my situation, being gay, that I tried to attempt suicide and I got in my car, said goodbye to my dog, and made it quite some ways to the major street and hit some poor fella, the back of his truck, and totaled my car and so forth, and was taken to the hospital unconscious because of the medication as well, and not necessarily the accident. I don't think I was going too fast. I think I was so, by the time I made it to that street, I was so out of it with the medicine that I had taken, and so sleepy that I wasn't going that fast. But I did total my car, so I must have been going pretty fast, maybe 30, 40 miles per hour. I'm not really sure. And I was quite bloodied and so revived at the hospital, and quite ashamed when I woke up what I had tried to do. And so I have experience with this, okay? But being a Christian and having ministers and having, therapy, I was able to, work through it. And I had loving brothers that helped me as well, and family. And when I later recognized that, I would say probably not long after that, I went to go see the movie The Exorcist, and that freaked me out because I knew that there were these things, and that's kind of connected me to realize that there are that, and plus reading the Bible, that we are bothered by sin. We are bothered by Satan. Having the devil on one side and the angel on the other side, sort of a cartoon characterization of it, that they do talk to you. But sometimes people just don't connect that they're actually in your thought. Now, I'm linking a video to this vlog so that you can actually hear experts talk about different subjects like schizophrenia, and I got a comment last night from somebody who looks at my videos, and I'm quite concerned for him because he's thinking of doing something very drastic to himself. And so it got me, thinking about what can I do as a layperson to help him through. So I sent him a link of a video to watch, and I thought that, you guys would want to take a look at this as well, just for your own edification, for your own education, for maybe to help other people that you may come across in your walks of life, that, you can have them look at the video, and that then they can then talk about it and feel it's a little bit less intrusive. And you'll have experts who talk on the subject of negative thought and where does it come from and how does it work and so forth. So I thought it would be valuable to you. I know it was for me. I know a lot of people, it does help, and it puts things into perspective, because as I was trying to relate to you, that it's been lost that we as Christians are being bombarded daily by these thoughts that we actually think are our own thoughts, and they're not. And so in different religions, for example, I think it's the Buddhist example that Curtis talks about off the left eye. He was saying that sometimes when you meditate, if a thought comes by like a cloud, you don't, if it's not your own thought, you don't take ownership of it, you just let it go by. And oftentimes a thought will come in my head and I'll go, that's not my own thought. No, I'd give that to Christ. I'll give that to Jesus. It's not my thought. It's not my intent. And that's what God goes for, is what is your intent of your heart? And then why are you acting on that? And if that's your intent, then fine. And if it's not, then what are you doing? And so I hope that this video will be helpful to you. I know I've talked almost as long as I do my regular videos, but I'm really hoping that this helps a lot of other people. So give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Thanks. Bye.